So today we look ahead to Sunday and the baptism of the Lord, the feast that ends the Christmas season. And at St. Lucy, we're going to be doing the optional readings that are available for year B. And so we're going to hear from Isaiah chapter 55, the familiar reading, "Thus says the Lord, all you who are thirsty, come to the water. You who have no money, come receive grain and eat." We also are going to hear from the first letter of St. John, and he talks about the three that testify: the Spirit, the water, and the blood. And so as a reflection, I want to offer from a book that I've talked about before, Preaching the New Lectionary by Diane Bergand. And so she kind of offers kind of a overall reflection on the set of readings that we'll hear, kind of the themes of the day. She talks about it. And so here's what she says. With this feast, the Christmas cycle comes to a close. The celebration expands the universality of God's presence proclaimed on the Epiphany, and it locates in the messianic mission of Jesus established at his baptism. This feast might be seen as the summary of the entire liturgical cycle. The one who is born among us is the servant of God, bringing to all the nations a promise of justice and the fulfillment of hope. Two major themes emerge, and we're going to talk about those in detail. Water as a symbol of the Messianic age, and the testimony of God. So we see kind of both of the readings echoing these major themes. So she starts with water as the symbol of the Messianic age. She says, water is a rich symbol with multi-dimensional meaning. Essential for life, water represents fertility and bounteous prosperity. It possesses the mysterious ability to transform the barren desert into a luxurious carpet of blossoms. It refreshes and nourishes. It is the source of life. It is life itself. Water is also a symbol of the spiritual life. It issues from some hidden wellhead in God, and it gushes forth as a fountain of refreshment and regeneration. The Messianic age, a time of well-being and complete fulfillment, is envisioned as a time of feasting on the fruits of a fertile and productive land, a land that resembles a well-watered garden. It is a time when the thirst for God will be slacked, and it will be dried up, and what is dried up will be rejuvenated. Finally, water can also represent the enemy. It can overwhelm the familiar and the secure and wash away any hope of rescue. It can swallow life up and become an unforgiving grave. Because of the threat posed by unruly or chaotic waters, it is also a symbol of death. However, those who are able to pass through these benevolent waters emerge transformed, reborn, a new creation, kind of echoes of the Exodus. The waters have been sanctified by Jesus. When he entered them to be baptized, he calmed their fury for all time. At the completion of this symbolic act, they released their grip on him, and he emerged to be identified as the beloved Son of the all-holy God. Water is now the secret hiding place of God. And so now then she talks about the testimony of God. And she says, some truths are self-evident. They can be recognized by all, and they do not need to be substantiated. Other truths are so amazing that they need the verification of reliable witnesses. The life-giving quality of water that we talked about before belongs to the first type. The divine origin of Jesus belongs to the second. The baptism of Jesus was an event that marked him as the Son of God. But how can this be confirmed? Who but God could authenticate such a claim? And God did authenticate it. The heavens were torn apart. The Spirit descended upon Jesus. The voice of God acclaimed him Son. The testimony of God, Father, Son, and Spirit, cannot be denied. A similar testimony confirms Jesus' divine sonship. The Spirit the water and the blood that we hear in the second reading. Water and blood flowed from Jesus' dead body, but through his conquest of death, the water and the blood are no longer signs of death. They now witness to his victory over death and the glory of his resurrected life. By faith, we too enter this victory. With him, we pass through water and blood, and the testimony of God authenticates our own resurrection life.